So just to be clear, what does MLAB stand for?
Stands for Modeling Laboratory because, again, we were interested in mathematical models describing various things such as pharmacological models, compartmental models, where you talk about a drug flowing from compartment to compartment, so to speak. And it actually started, I didn't mention that before, around 1970. The first publication about MLAB was in a conference. I can't remember the name of it. I think the publication was in 1972. And there are many other publications, by the way, this is worth noting at this point, showing the use of MLAB in various scientific papers, which you can find at our website, which is www.civilized.com. And those citations are very interesting for grasping the scope of MLAB and the kind of scientific applications it's been involved in.
So what are the major applications of MLAB?
Well, as I mentioned, pharmacology applications is certainly a major area. We have an interesting little statistical methodology for doing drug combination analysis. How do you analyze the synergy or antagonism of two drugs or more being used in a treatment of some kind? That's more a statistical analysis problem than it is a modeling problem, but MLAB has a lot of statistics in it. So it is able to do that kind of thing. However, other examples include chemical kinetics, which is a pure differential equation problem for which MLAB is very well suited, and compartmental models, which we mentioned before. There's an interesting model, maybe I'll show you here at the screen on the screen later, which is a model of sheep's nourishment. It's a model in agriculture. If you provide certain kind of timothy grass or other feed to a sheep, and you want to know how much nourishment the sheep gets out of it, you can actually model the sheep's stomachs and the digestive system, which extracts this nutrient. Sheep are ruminants. They have two stomachs, and they're very interesting in that regard for modeling. So there's also models in physics, models about lasers, there are models about NMR machines, and models of electrical circuits, including the famous Hodgkin-Huxley model for the nerve axon. So really, the scientific world in almost all quantitative discipline is filled with models. You can find models in forestry, you can find models in sociology, you can find models in economics, and of course models in physics and chemistry.
So what would you say are MLAB's major strengths?
Well, the thing you want to do with a mathematical model, sometimes you just want to compute it. Just look at the graphs of what the differential equations or the algebraic functions predict. But sometimes, in fact, more often than not, you want to take data from the laboratory and you want to fit the model to the data. Now, what that means is to estimate unknown parameters that are in the model. For example, you have a model e to the minus kt is fitting some data as a function of time. The unknown parameter would be that constant k, and we might want to know what that is by fitting the model to the data using the MLAB tools for curve fitting.